Good morning, students. I hope you all are safe in your home. Don't go outside, stay home, stay safe. As we all are aware about the present situation and the uncertainty about the commencement of new academic year, once again we are commencing with the online classes. Now, today I am going to start your first chapter, crop production and management. From the name of the chapter, you can understand that this chapter is depend upon the agriculture practices and agriculture field, the practices which is going on the agriculture field. Now here, see, we will start the chapter. Paheli and Bojo went their uncle's house during the summer vacation. Their uncle is a farmer. One day they saw some tools like kurpi, sickle, shovel, plug, etc. in the field. Now you are aware about these tools which is used in the agriculture field. Now the next one, you have learned that all living organisms require food. Plant can make their food themselves. Can you recall how the green plants synthesize their own food? In last academic year, in class 7th, and chapter number first, nutrition in plant, in that we learn about the all our living organisms they required food. Plant, only plant they can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, and we are aware about the photosynthesis process by the using of chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. Plant prepare their own food, and the two products will be formed carbohydrate and oxygen is released in the atmosphere. Animals including humans cannot make their own food. So where do the animals get their food from? We are aware about that animals and human beings are the heterotrophs. They are not preparing their own food. They are depend upon the plants or other animals, the other animals. Now some animals are directly depend upon the plant because they are herbivores, and some animals are depend upon the other animals, they are called as carnivores, and some animals are depend on both of them, animals and plants, those are called as omnivores. All of them and directly and indirectly all the animals and humans are depend upon the plant. Now next, but first of all, why do we have to eat food? To eat food, we already know that the energy from the food is utilized by organisms for carrying out their various body functions such as digestion, respiration, digestion, respiration and excretion. We get our food from the plants and animals or both. Now why we have to eat the food? We are aware about that because we are getting the energy from the food and utilized by the organisms carrying out their various body functions such as digestion, respiration, excretion, and we are getting the food from plants or animals or from both of them. Next, in order to provide food for the large population, regular production, proper management and distribution of food is necessary. Now we are aware about that India is a vast country. Here large population also there. For them the proper food production is required, and proper management also required, and proper distribution of food is also necessary. Now we will start our chapter from the first point, 1.1, agriculture practices. Now see, till 10,000 years before Christ, before Christ, people were nomadic भटकी जमात की जे फिरून खात होते. They were wandering in groups from place to place in search of food and shelter. They ate raw fruits and vegetables and started hunting for the animals for food. Later they could cultivate land and produce rice, wheat and other food crops. Thus was born agriculture. Now here the small story is given about how the agriculture was born. We are aware about that the ancient people, they are not aware about the agriculture. They are wandering in the groups. They are wandering in the groups for the shelter and places. They are wandering from one place to the another place. They ate raw fruits and vegetables. They started hunting for the for animals for food. Later they cultivated land and produced the rice, wheat, and from that the agriculture was born. Now what is the definition of the crop? When plants of the same kind are grown, when plants of the same kind when plants of the same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on a large scale is called crop, not in a single plant. Here what is the mention? When plants of the same kind, suppose we will think about the maize or mango trees or maize, and in that, when plants of the same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on the large scale, it is called as a crop, not in a single plant. On the large scale, it is called as a crop. For example, crop of wheat means that all the plants grown in the field are that of wheat. You already know that crops are different types like cereals, vegetables, and fruits. These can be classified on the basis of the season in which they grow. Now here we are aware about that India is a vast country, and the climatic conditions like temperature, humidity, rainfall is varies from one region to the another region, now suppose we will think about the Konkan area and Vidarbha area or Rajasthan area. In Konkan areas, rainfall is more than the Rajasthan areas, like humidity also more, and in Rajasthan temperature is more than the Konkan areas. These are the different things between one country only, Rajasthan and Konkan areas. Suppose Vidarbha, Marathwada, and these Konkan areas. There are the different things, and different climatic conditions are there, like temperature, humidity, rainfall is varying from region to region. Accordingly, is a rich there is a rich variety of crops grown in different parts of the country. Despite the diversity, two broad cropping patterns can be identified. These are: first one is Kharif crops, and second one is a Rabi crops. Now we are aware about that two seasons, Kharif season and Rabi season, or Kharif crops and Rabi crops. India is a vast country, because of that and depend upon the water, how much water is required for that plant. Depend upon that, the two seasons will be prepared, and two types of crops will be prepared: Kharif crops and Rabi crops. First one, we will see Kharif crops. The crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. Nowadays, which crops will be sown in your field, these are called as Kharif crops. The rainy season in India is generally from June to September. Now it is started from June to September. Rainy season already started. Paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, cotton, etc. are Kharif crops. You keep in your mind this question will be asked for the differentiate between the Kharif crops and Rabi crops. You have to aware about that. The definition: the crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. The crops which are grown in the winter season are called Rabi crops. Now we will see about the Rabi crops. The crops grown in the winter season are called Rabi crops. Their time period is generally from October to March. Examples of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed, jawaz. Now here, this type of question will be asked in the exam: differentiate between the Kharif crops and Rabi crops. Your first point will be: the crops which are sown in the rainy season is called Kharif crops. First point in the Rabi crops: the crops which are grown in the winter season are called Rabi crops. Next one, the time for this season is June to September. They sown into the Kharif crops. They sown into the field into the month of June to September, and Rabi crops October to March. And examples, you have to write the third point: examples also: paddy, maize. At least two examples are required: paddy and maize. And the next one, gram and pea. In this way you have to differentiate both of them. Next one, basic practices of crop production. Now before that, one question is that: why can paddy not be grown in a winter season? Paddy cannot be grown into the winter season because the paddy is required lot of water. Paddy is required lot of water, therefore it grown into the rainy season. Suppose the paddy will be grown into the paddy will be sown into the sown into the winter season, what will happen? It cannot get the proper water and it cannot grow properly. That's why, and we cannot get the we cannot get the crop product properly. And basically it is harmful. It is basically economically harmful for that farmer. Now next one, cultivation of crops. Cultivation of crops involves several activities undertaken by the farmers over a period of time. Over a period of time, you may find that these activities are similar to those carried out by the gardener or even by you when you grow ornamental plants in your house. These activities or tasks are referred to the agriculture practices. These activities listed below. These activities listed below. Now we are aware about that when the farmers, they are taking they are taking crop production, that time many more activities are there, or many more crop practices, agriculture practices are there. In that, first one, preparation of the soil. Second one, sowing. Third one, adding manure and fertilizer. Fourth one, irrigation. Fifth one, protecting from weeds. Sixth one, harvesting. And seventh, storage. First, preparation of the soil is most important, because for the sowing purpose and irrigation purpose, soil they have to prepare, they have to level the soil. Afterwards, sowing of the seeds. Next one, adding manure and fertilizers, those are the most important one. Afterward, irrigation, watering process. Next one, process protecting from the weeds. Weeds are harmful for the crops. For that purpose, we have to protect from the weeds. And then next one, harvesting means cutting. And seventh one, storage of that crop product. Now the next one, storage of the grains. Now the first point from that agriculture practices, first point, preparation of the soil. Preparation of the soil. The preparation of a soil is a first step before growing crop. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. The soil, turn and loosen it. It is done with the help of the plug. It is done with the help of the plug. नांगरणी, ज्याला आपण नांगरणी म्हणतो. Now, the first step, the preparation of the soil, it is a most important, because to turn and lose the soil, turn and lose the soil. What is the use of that turning and loosening of the soil? You are aware about that, the plugging process. Now what is the use of that? This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. Now the turning and loosening of the soil, what helps to the plant? This allows the roots of the plant to penetrate deep into the soil, to search the water or to hold the plant in the soil. And the loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily when they go deep into the soil, because we are aware about that when we throw water on the soil, that time some air bubbles are coming outside. Some type of air is present in the between the two particles of the soil, and they can breathe from there. Now here one question is asked at the last: why does the loosening of soil allows the roots to breathe easily? Breathe easily, and the answer is because loosening of the soil allows them to penetrate, it allows the roots to penetrate into the spaces in between the soil particles which have air trapped in it. We are aware about that soil also contain air particles. When we throw the water, that time air bubbles comes out from the air, that time that we learn. Next, the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworm. The loosened soil help in the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. These organisms are friends of farmers since they further turn and loosen the soil and add humus to it. But why does the soil need to be turned and loosened? Now, the loosened soil helps to the growth of earthworms. We are aware about that. The one line about the earthworms are farmer's friend. Earthworms are called as a farmer's friend. We are already learned in the 7th class why the earthworm is called as a farmer's friend, because it gives the humus content which is useful for the plant, and plant take this for their nourishment. Now the organisms, these are called as an farmer's friend since they further turn then loosen the soil and add the humus to it. And the last, again one question is arises, why does the soil need to be turned and loosened? Already the answer will be given in the first para, preparation of the soil. The first para already the answer is given, because only loose soil allows the roots to penetrate freely deeper into the soil, and the roots can breathe easily in the loose soil. The deep roots hold the plant more firmly. The water also can reach easily up to more depth in loose soil, Now the next one, you have learned in a previous classes that soil contain minerals, water, air, and some living organisms. In class 7th we already learned these concepts in chapter number first, also in chapter number 9 also, soil. So in chapter soil also we learn about the soil contains minerals, air, water, air, and some living organisms. In addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by the soil organism, and in this way various nutrition held in the dead organisms are released back into the soil. I think one chapter is there, forest our lifeline. In this chapter we learn about how the forest in the forest the nutrients will be replenished by themselves, because decaying animals decomposed by the soil organisms, again it will be releases their nutrients in the soil, and the plants from the forest, they are getting these nutrients, and this cycle will be going on in the forests. Here it is mentioned, in addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by the soil organism. In this way various nutrients held in the dead organisms are released back into the soil, and these nutrients are again absorbed by the plant. We are aware about that, which is mentioned in the forest our lifeline chapter, in the forest our lifeline chapter. Since only few centimeters of the top layer of the soil supports to plant growth, turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrient rich soil to the top, so that plants can use these nutrients, can use these nutrients. Now we are aware about that, in chapter 7 chapter soil, that there it is mentioned in few centimeters top layer, which only contains the humus content, because the dead and decaying animals will be died upper layer of the soil, and they really, the because of the bacteria it will be vanished in upper side, and the nutrients will be released in upper side air, and that's why the humus will be present on the upper layer, few centimeters of the layer. It will be useful for the plantation, and that's why the turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrient rich soil which is present downside, so it will be comes upside when turning and loosening process will be going on. Now thus turning and loosening soil is very important for the cultivation of the crops, and the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or plugging. Now plugging, नांगरणी, की ज्याला आपण नांगरणी म्हणतो. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or plugging. Now process of turning from one place to the another place, and loosening to take them water, and to take them water, and downside soil will become upside. Now nutrient rich soil will becomes upside, and it can be used by the plant. This is done by the using plug means nanger. Plugs are made up of wood or iron. If the soil is very dry, it may need watering before the plugging, and the plugged field may have big pieces of soil called crumbs, and it is necessary to break these crumbs with the plank, and the field is leveled for the sowing as well as irrigation purpose, and the leveler The leveling of the soil is done with the help of leveler. Now we are aware about that the suppose soil is more very dry, that time watering is required before plugging. Before plugging, now you are aware about that when first rain will be first monsoon rain will be come in Maharashtra, that time afterwards the plugging and other processes will be going on. Other processes are going on. Before monsoon, some rain will be there, that time the plugging and other processes will be going on. The plugged field may have big pieces of soil like crumbs, and it is necessary to break these crumbs with the help of plank, and the field will be leveled for the sowing as well as irrigation purpose. The field, so when the plugging process will be completed, that time the small big particles of the soil will be comes outside. It will be break by the help of the plank, and afterwards the leveling process, it is the most important, and it will be done by the leveler. It will be done by the leveler. Why it is required? Because with the help of the leveler, it will be leveled. It will be the field will be leveled, and it will be helpful for the sowing purpose also and irrigation purpose also. Next, sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling, and this helps in a proper mixing of manure with the soil. Proper mixing of manure with the soil, and the soil watered before sowing. The soil watered before sowing. Now, somewhere you are aware about that the crops when we are taking like. Onion and other onion, for that purpose the farmers, they are giving water, and afterwards they are sowing the seeds, sowing that plant.